Welcome back to Vertical Slice, where I talk about a slice of a game that doesn't even exist yet. A while ago, back before Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U finished its DLC run, I watched a video that opened my eyes. It was from a Let's Play channel called Goodbye 18,000. You should check it out. It's run by a cool guy and fellow Canadian named Tanner. Anyways, this video was a short rant about the process that went into adding Cloud from Final Fantasy VII to Super Smash Bros. Specifically the fact that Terra from Final Fantasy VI and Bartz from Final Fantasy V were considered. I say this video was eye-opening because holy crap, I did not realize how hyped Bartz would be in Super Smash Bros. Now, obviously someone like Bartz would never get in over a fan favorite like Cloud. But it's fun to dream. Bartz is the perfect choice to celebrate all of Final Fantasy, rather than just 7. The video puts it well. Final Fantasy V is a celebration of the first 4 Final Fantasy games. But with the release of Dissidia, a Final Fantasy fighting game, the celebration gets a whole lot bigger. In that game, Bartz draws on the Mime class. Specifically, he can mimic the abilities and weapons of other Final Fantasy characters. Cloud's Buster Sword, Tidus' Brotherhood, Squall's Revolver. You can draw on all that. Bartz also represents the Super Nintendo era of Final Fantasy, with the classic job system and iconic look of the 2D battles. Let's be honest here, that's a lot more relevant to Nintendo than Final Fantasy VII ever will be. Replicating that old school style is also something that the creators of Smash Bros. Clearly relish in. Because of all of this, Bartz has an obscenely large move pool to draw on. You could reference classic Final Fantasy classes, like the classic Black Mage, and other iconic stuff like that, but you can also draw on the moves from any future or past Final Fantasy character. You could even combine both. I mean, why not? And while we're piling fan service on, little damage numbers should appear whenever you hit someone with Bartz. Frankly, it should be like that with Cloud, but I digress. The most important thing Bartz brings to the table is the ability to be a Kirby clone. Tanner goes into this, but I want to expand on the idea. In the same way that Kirby copies B moves by inhaling enemies, Bartz can do this with blue magic. For the uninitiated, blue magic is a type of magic in Final Fantasy that lets you use an enemy's skill after being hit by it. Now, back in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Sakurai would probably have made it so you have to take damage to use this skill. But we live in the future. We have counters. So, Bartz's neutral B is a counter stance. When he gets hit, he learns the enemy's B move. Now here's the twist. Bartz's copied skills become classic Final Fantasy skills. Copy Sheik's Needle Toss, you get 1000 needles. Mario's Fireball becomes Firaga. Zelda's Nehru's Love skill, Reflect. Shulk's various Monado arts, stat buffs, like Protect, Bravery, Float, and so on. Ness's PK Pulse, more like Ultima. I could go on, so I did. And there's an easy budget saving thing they can do here too, where rather than giving Bartz all the animations of every single character, they can replace a lot of them with generic magic casting animations. So that's a lot of fan service, right? But that doesn't even touch on the costume potential for Bartz. In Final Fantasy V there's over 20 jobs with unique outfits. But Bartz's in-game sprite is also the prototypical Final Fantasy hero. There's so much you can do with that. Just like in his game, Bartz's sheer versatility is his best asset. And it makes me sad to see him go unused in favor of a more popular pick. I love you, Cloud, but Bartz is just better.
Let's go. For a shining world. Come at me all you want, but I'll still win.